Hi, Paul Seils. I'm with Max Igan. I met Max a number of years ago, back with Ben Stewart and Jason Gregory, probably in about 2010, I think it was, the first time. I discovered your work early in the 2000s with your documentaries like The Calling, The Awakening. What were some of the other documentaries that came out? I remember.
By the New World Order with Global Non-Compliance, The Big Picture.
Yeah.
Transformation was the last one that I did. But The Calling and The Awakening, they were pretty popular.
Yeah, they were pretty powerful as well.
They were the ones that got out there, yeah. By the New World Order with Global Non-Compliance was a 25-minute one that I did that went pretty viral. That's the one that really got my name out there.
Yeah. Now, we were meant to do a broadcast for you for our cryptocurrency retreat just recently, and you had some power outage in Peru. So what we wanted to talk about, and you've had encounters with flesh-eating parasites and all sorts of things. But what we wanted to square off on today, like it's really becoming very popular and common speak in the world at the moment around the cryptocurrency space and blockchain. And what I really wanted to talk about today, and you've covered a lot off in your material already around global surveillance, and you've talked about the Palantir system and 5G networks. What we're looking for is really like a more balanced approach. People are sort of rushing in. It's a big money grab at the moment. They're rushing in and trying to make what they can. And just to address the concerns around like what's occurring in that space, and in relation to privacy, in relation to surveillance, and also AI or autonomous intelligence and all those sorts of things, Max.
Yeah, look, it's such a wide field. There's so many aspects to it. It really is, and figuring out where the blockchain fits in. There's so many facets to it. Like in the current system that we've got with the fiat system and the government system and everything we're doing on the ground, the blockchain could be really good to free us from this fiat system. But even in doing that, people don't understand really what they're doing by doing that. The government, as corrupt as it is, this whole system, as corrupt as it is, it depends upon that economic system to function. So with the blockchain, effectively we're undermining the economic structure of our own countries.
Yeah.
Which it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, depending on how it goes. I mean, we don't want the system to just collapse.
And have nothing to replace it with.
If the system just collapses and suddenly our dollar's worth nothing, a lot of people will suffer.
Yeah.
That's no way to make a transition. I think we're being set up with it. In the current system, the blockchain could work really well, but the system is adapting itself again to fit the blockchain as well. So with the smart grid that's coming out, it doesn't matter what form the currency takes in that smart system as long as it's digital. When you're in a situation where you've got to pay by you go, pay as you go for everything you do. You turn a tap on, a few credits, turn on a light, a few credits. Everything you do is pay by use.
Per millisecond.
It's all smart. Then the currency has to be digital for that to work.
Yeah.
And so cryptocurrency works fine in that. So when you look at it, by everybody embracing the cryptocurrency, and again, they're doing so because of greed generally.
Yeah.
It's all about making money. So, by embracing this and going full on into that, we're basically undermining the economic structure of our own countries, and we're forcing ourselves to go over to this system, which may well be the smart system itself. There's good aspects to it and there's bad aspects to it. And really, when you look at it, if you want to change the whole system over to a digital system, you've got to get the people to embrace it. The best way to do that is through blockchain. With what we're seeing, you can invest in this and make lots of money. It's almost like people have been given their $200 to pass go.
Yeah.
And it's going to be go for the new system. And this all ties in with AI. It all ties in with the smart grid. And it also ties in with the new economic system, the new economic trade agreements that are coming out, which China is going to be leading, the new One Belt, One Road economic system. I suspect that all that will be handed over to crypto. I reckon one of the ways they'll do this is they'll probably announce something like a debt jubilee. Everyone will embrace blockchain to the point that it will undermine the currencies of their own country. They'll realise that it's no longer sustainable. And the only way we can really get out of it is just to cancel all debt.
Yeah.
And the people will totally embrace that. Totally, because, of course they are.
Particularly the third world countries.
Everybody's just going to embrace it. Everybody in all countries are going to embrace it. Oh, wow, we can wipe out all debt. All we've got to do is move over to digital. They're going to be there. They're going to do it. So It wouldn't surprise me at all. And then when that happens, this whole new economic system will come online, the whole new Silk Road will come online, and America will lose its place as the global reserve currency at that point when it all turns over to crypto. This is something that Americans don't understand as well. A lot of them are really pushing the Bitcoin and really pushing the cryptocurrencies. But Americans are used to living at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
And the only way that they're able to sustain that position is because the US dollar is the global reserve currency. You know, the United States owes trillions and trillions of dollars to other countries, mainly to China.
Mainly to China, yeah.
And you've got to ask, you know, why China? Why China?
Because they're the manufacturing base of the world, right?
But they could have borrowed from the World Bank.
That's true.
They could
The
have
IMF.
borrowed. They could have borrowed from anybody. Why China? Why was it done specifically to get the United States in debt to China? Now you look at the Rothschilds and Kissinger and all these people. They really like the Chinese work ethic. They really like to bring that into the United States. What's the best way to do that? You know, so if you can crash the United States currency through Bitcoin, have America lose its position as a global reserve currency, then America loses its place at the top of the food chain. And just to bring the country back online, we've all got to band together and tighten our belts and introduce this new, gradually move it into the Chinese work ethic, just for a little while, just to get us back on top. You know what it's like. We're not going to keep it. Of course we're not, you know.
Yeah.
Of course they are. So that's the way to do it. And I can see the whole system turning over to a more Chinese work ethic in all Western countries. And even as it does get smarter and smarter and smarter and everything becomes automated, all your food's delivered by your fridge. Your fridge knows when you're running out of butter and it orders some for you. You know, the shop, you know, it all gets delivered. It's all done. It's all smart.
Yeah.
Where's the work for everybody in that situation?
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where you need credits in order to pay to be alive and you've got no work because it's all automated, then you need something like Bitcoin, you need something like a cryptocurrency so that everyone can get their weekly handout, you know, so it all works. I mean, you can see where it's going. I think we're in a real danger of it being led in that way as well. I mean, there's good points to the crypto and there's bad points to it because as much as we don't like the system, like I said, we don't want to see it just collapse into nothing because too many people will suffer. We need a transitional period. Even if we wanted to move to a more anarchistic voluntarism way of operating, it's still going to take 2 or 3 generations at least
To adapt.
to educate people back to a point where they're capable of self-governance. I mean, kids coming out of school now, they can't even plant a seed. They don't even know how to use the most basic tools. You've got people going and getting jobs in hardware stores, and the hardware store has to create an instruction video to show their new trainees how to use a tape measure.
Yeah.
Right? How to use a tape measure. You've got to show a 17 or 18-year-old kid how to use a tape measure. This is a kid that's just graduated college, you know, and is starting in the workforce. I mean, this is ridiculous. That's the level of life skill we've lost. Kids don't even know where milk comes from.
Yeah.
They think it comes from the supermarket. Yeah. So they don't know how to do anything. They've got no basic life skills. So how are we even going to function in that type of a world, you know? And when it's all automated like that, if the power goes out or you get locked out of the system, forget it. You won't survive.
Yeah. And I guess that's one of my concerns as well, is the fact that there's, to a certain degree, there's a lot of decentralized currency at the moment, and probably a lot of it's not as private as what it should be. But there's an agenda there as well for the, like, a clawback by the governments and the international bankers to issue centralized currencies. And if they have, part of our intention is to have people be educated as well, because if centralized fiat digital currencies get in place, even the head of ASIC, I think his name's David Metcalf, said that with a fiat digital currency, we'll have the ability to be able to monitor, control, tax and confiscate at will. Currency.
Well, even if it isn't fiat digital, I mean, if it's just digital, people don't realise the danger that they're in, because once it's all digital, once everything is digital, you just get locked out. And like even now in China, there's new work. If you want to get a job in China, they go and they check your whole social media, work history, everything. Yeah. They profile you at everything. And if you've liked certain things that they don't like, then you get penalised. You don't get the right job opportunities, all this sorts of stuff. So this is the way they're doing it as well.
Well, even in the Western world, most of the employment agencies check Facebook profiles as part of standard procedure.
Yeah, well, so You know, it's getting to the point where you're not allowed to think outside of the box or you get ostracized. So that's the danger of it. Once it all becomes digital, it doesn't matter. You know, you become an economic node for the system. It doesn't, and the bankers and stuff, you know, they don't really need centralized currency. What they need is centralized control. The currency is simply the glue that holds it together. You know, if you've got to pay as you go for everything and pay for every single aspect of your life, that's the way they get you. It's the control that you know, they don't even care if you're making free currency, as long as you have to pay for every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
So they don't care about control of the currency. Now, they already own everything.
Yeah.
They don't care if they lose control of the currency. They already own 95% of the world.
Of the assets.
You know, they've got all the gold. They've got enough wealth to keep their families going for the next 5,000 or 6,000 generations. They don't care. All the fiat currency system has just been used to lead us to this point. If it all switches over to digital now, they don't care. It's not going to affect them in any way at all. They've still got control of everybody. Only now they can monitor everything you do, everything you're spending everything on.
Yeah.
You know, when, like they say with Tom Wheeler, the head of the FCC, says everything from pill bottles to plant waters will be microchipped.
And have its own IP.
Have its own IP address.
Yeah.
So you walk into a supermarket, there's nobody there to serve you. It detects you as you walk in. You pick up what you want. It detects what you've picked up and what you're carrying when you walk out. It detracts it from your currency. Bitcoin will work fine with that. Blockchain will work fine with that.
Yeah.
Any type of digital currency will work fine with that, as long as it's digital.
Yeah,
You know?
and being able to bring transparency to things like voting systems, and you know, being able to, if you think you're buying an organic orange, that you know it's an organic orange and you get to know where it's come from. But it's like you know, it's my concern is around the future and the artificial, the AI, and just the oversight. The potential oversight of those.
The
control
AI will
mechanisms.
have its own oversight, but even with AI, I mean, we're not looking at this correctly either. I don't think. You know, even artificial intelligence, the whole concept of artificial intelligence.
Or autonomous intelligence.
It's autonomous intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence. It's autonomous intelligence, and it's artificial. It's virtual life, is what it is. It's not artificial intelligence. It's virtual life. You know, you think about it. Virtual life comes with full autonomy. Once we create an internet which is fully autonomic and functions, it's a self-balancing, self-correcting, self-healing, self-protective system, then it becomes like any other living thing. It's like your body. You know, you're only able to function and have this conversation with me because your body is fully autonomic. You know, if you had to think about your heart beating and pumping your blood through your veins and blinking your eyes.
Yeah, I can only do about 2 or 3 things.
You're going to sit there going, okay, I'm functioning.
Yeah.
That you're going to be totally focused on the workings of your body. Your body has to be autonomic in order to have any intelligence or life controlling it. And once it becomes autonomic, it needs to have life controlling it. It's the same as a plant. A plant is fully autonomic. You can hear plants scream when you cut them. You know, they have an intelligence. You can get down in Byron Bay. There's these trees they plug these things into, and they play music
Crystal
for
Castle?
you. Yeah, the Crystal Castle. The trees actually play music for you.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you can listen to them. They fumble a little bit at first, and they figure out whether you like it. And if you do like it, if you start feeling good, then they play louder. If you don't like it, if you just start feeling bad about it, they fumble and they stop because they can detect your emotion, and then they change the tune to something different.
Right.
So this is trees.
I haven't experienced it yet. I've only heard about it.
These are intelligence in trees. So everything that is autonomic has a form of intelligence. So by creating an autonomic internet, we are creating a virtual life without even realizing that we're doing it. You know, we think of virtual life, we think of artificial intelligence, and we think of a robot that looks like me or you that can sit down and have a conversation. We're not getting that, so we think, oh, well, it's not really doing it. It's not really performing the way we thought it would.
Yeah.
We're not looking at it correctly, you know. In order to create virtual life, you need to create an autonomic system. You know, this robot, Sophia, she can't be seen as something that is virtual life yet because it's not an autonomic system that she inhabits.
Yeah.
You know, but once the system becomes autonomic, it will become a virtual life by default. You know, whether it has emotions, whether it thinks like we do, that's another story.
Yeah. So let's say a little bit more about that. So I'd imagine Saudi Arabia has actually purchased that project from someone, paid a lot of money for it. And it's so recently Saudi Arabia gave citizenship to a robot.
Well, what they did really was grant citizenship to artificial intelligence. The robot is just the vessel that's holding it. You know, she's hooked into a mainframe. It's actually the artificial intelligence that got given the virtual life. Saudi Arabia is the head of the Palantir network. That's the biggest Palantir data gathering center in the world.
That's overarches like the other programs, like the Five Eyes Alliance and all that.
Yeah. Palantir runs the whole thing.
And that's someone said to me that the photo of Donald Trump with the shakes on his hands with the big orb.
That's symbolic of the Palantir,
right?
Of that coming online. Palantir was the all-seeing eye from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You know, the orb from Lord of the Rings?
I'm not big into that.
That was that whole symbolism of that whole thing, and that's why they call it Palantir, because Palantir could see everything, instant communication.
The eye of all-knowing.
The eye of Sauron and all that sort of stuff. So that's where it all comes from. But where were we going? What were
Palantir, talking about Palantir, like say a little bit more about the Palantir project, what that's about, and surveillance and how that interfaces with the 5G network and all that.
That's right, artificial intelligence, Sophia. What they've done, let's see, when the whole smart grid comes online, if it's run by blockchain, which it probably will be.
Yeah. The power systems like.
It's going to be the artificial intelligence that controls it all. That will be the bank. That will be the head banker. Okay, and that will be who's making the decisions, and we will each become an economic node for the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But in order for that to happen, in order for the artificial intelligence to receive an income or receive a wage or to run a company, it needs to be a citizen. That's the only way it can do it, because of laws, maritime admiralty laws, UCC, all this sort of rubbish, the way it works. Okay, so that's what all that was about. This whole thing of giving citizenship to a robot really was about granting citizenship to AI, so AI can run the economic system and make a profit on it and legally do so.
Oh, and do it super efficiently.
So, and even when you look at the blockchain, you look at Bitcoin, there's a very good possibility that this was written by AI. You know, it's a very, very sophisticated program. There's only 3 or 4 people in the world that could have written that program, and none of them admit to doing it. So who wrote Bitcoin? Who wrote the blockchain? Who got all this happening?
It's highly speculative. No one knows for sure.
Exactly.
It's speculated that a couple of people with good intentions out of NSA might have released
Well,
it.
it could well have been the AI that did it as well. Could have well been the AI.
Could have projected it into the matrix.
But you look at what Saudi Arabia is doing at the moment as well. They've completely westernized their business practices. They
put the broom through the place.
Well, absolutely. Well, what this is about...
People put up in being held captive in 5-star hotels.
Well, this is all related to the Vegas shooting, and that was basically an attempted coup. The Vegas shooting that went wrong, I believe, anyway. And I believe people did die in Vegas, contrary to what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah. And some ballistics or sound engineers that have worked on that have confirmed that there's more than one shooter that was involved.
Yeah, definitely more than one shooter in more than one place. It's such a convoluted issue, but all that's related. But Saudi Arabia has opened up all these business practices so they've westernized all their business practices to fit in with this new economic road, the new Silk Road. This is why Israel's rubbing shoulders with China and Russia as well at the moment, because they want to maintain their viability. You know, so it's all related to the same thing. And you've got to understand what Saudi Arabia is as well. I mean, Saudi Arabia is basically it's the left hand of Israel.
Yeah,
is what it is. I mean, even the Saudi family. This is a Jewish family that's been set up as the rulers of Saudi Arabia. You know, the real king of Saudi Arabia, King Faisal, was deposed back in the 70s. Yeah, the CIA, 60s or 70s. The CIA deposed him because he said you've got to stop supporting Israel in its destruction of Palestine. And they said, no, don't do that. And he said, we'll stop buying your oil. And he said, go ahead, stop buying your oil. We'll close the oil fields and go back to eating dates. We don't need to sell to you anyway. You want the oil, not us. So the CIA went in there and deposed him and put in the Saudi family, who then set up this abominable Wahhabist extremist Islamic regime to present this concept of what Islam is to the world, which isn't what Islam is. You know, but it's all part of the Israeli plan. It's a Jewish family. Yeah. So this is why you've got Saudis posturing against Lebanon and stuff at the moment, and Israel's coming in to help their friends. It's because Israel can't sort of get away with trying to push it with Lebanon anymore. It's done so in the past and been slapped over the wrist too many times. So now it's doing so with its proxy Saudi Arabia. Yeah. You know, the attack in Yemen, this is all about Greater Israel. The attack in Yemen is all about this economic road as well, controlling the Straits of Aden. They can't have Yemen controlled by a democratic government that wants to control the Straits of Aden because it's a major trade route.
It's shocking what Saudi Arabia's been doing to Yemen, Max.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Yeah, the human rights violations,
it's a humanitarian
the
crisis.
the chemical and biological weapons they've been using on the people.
It's a humanitarian crisis.
But in this day and
mammoth
age, people get
proportions.
upset about stories from the past about genocide, but it's occurring right at the moment as we speak.
Yeah, it's horrendous, and they won't let any aid in there. They're not letting any aid ships in. Iran's been trying to send aid ships in, and they're all, oh no, this is Iranian-backed rebels or rubbish. It was people saying, look, we don't want the place ruled by Saudi Arabia anymore. We want to control our own country.
Yeah.
And so Saudi Arabia just went in and stomped on them, and it's been one of the longest bombing campaigns, I think, in modern history, what they've done to Yemen.
And the Americans and the British supplied most of the weapons.
Everybody, the Moroccans, the French, the Italians, everybody. They're all in there. Everybody's in there. Now, they're killing people. You want some of our weapons? We'll come and do it. Let's
good
get
business.
involved. Oh, yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wonderful, you know?
Yeah. So let's say a bit more about, we touched on briefly around the Silk Road project as well. Say a little bit more about the Silk Road.
One Belt, One Road is the new economic trade agreement that is going to be run through Europe. It's basically mimicking the old Silk Road, and it's going to be run by China. This is how China is going to come into the world stage. We've been seeing the prep for this in the minds of the people, with little bits of rumours of China coming in. And the recent movie that came out, Matt Damon, The Great Wall. Is it Matt Damon?
I never saw it. No.
I think it was Matt Damon. But The Great Wall showed, and it's it's sort of a mystical movie about the Chinese, and it portrays them as wonderful, wonderful people, beautiful army, like elves almost, saving the world from these beasts that are coming to try to take over. So we're getting this whole sort of in the minds of the people, opening our hearts up to China a little bit. And now you've got America posturing against North Korea and this whole standoff that's going on there. This is going to escalate to the point that people are going to seriously believe that they're under threat of nuclear attack, which is not going to happen.
Well, it's another repeat of the other scenario, the weapons of mass destruction, the
it's not going to happen.
Bombing their own people, sort of.
But they won't even go in and bomb. It won't even be like Iraq or Libya or anything. They won't even go in and bomb
Syria.
Yeah, but Iraq, Libya, Syria, whichever one, Afghanistan. But they won't even go in and start a war. It'll get to the point where they're really facing off against each other, and China will come in and save the day. Because China doesn't want a war right on its borders like that. I mean, of course, China's not going to let America bomb North Korea anyway, because how many bombs are going to hit North Korea and how many are going to hit China?
Yeah.
I mean, it's right next door to each other. So China's not going to allow this to happen. They'll come in and they'll appease North Korea, and North Korea will agree to not be so warmongering if we open up Western trade. So North Korea will open itself up to the West. China, because it's just saved the day, the world will be so grateful of the wonderful Chinese for saving us all from World War III, and so we will award them control of the new Silk Road and the new economic trade system. That's how they'll be brought into the fold. With what's happened in England as well with Brexit, the whole push to leave the EU.
It's going to be quiet.
It's going to be quiet. And what's going to happen with that, now that England's kind of, yes, we all want out and we all want our autonomy. Look at this new Silk Road agreements. It's all designed around the EU and different countries in the South Pacific and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't say anything about the UK. So they will be squeezed out of these new trade deals. They'll have to pay extra tariffs because they're not part of the EU. This way it shows what happened when you leave.
Yeah.
So the life will become, the cost of living will go up. It'll become quite difficult to function in England for a little while. England won't ever go down because it's England, the royal family.
It's one of the centre control systems.
What they need to do is get it into the minds of the people that you can't choose to stand up for yourselves the way you did with Brexit. And look what happens because you did.
Yeah.
So now this
That'd
whole
be a
new,
lesson.
now we've got this whole new trade agreement going on. It's all running off Bitcoin and crypto, and everyone's good. But here's you guys over here, and we've brought all these migrants in here, which are all setting up these Sharia zones and all this sort of stuff. Probably Mossad operatives doing all this, So then we end up with a race war, a culture clash of cultures, a class riots and all that sort of stuff in England. And then the police will come in to save the day and have to bring in more martial law and more control. So, and then England will come back into the EU. So this is the way it's all going to go down. And when all that happens, America will lose its position as the global reserve currency. Trump is the fall guy for the controlled demolition of the United States. That's basically what's happening.
Well, it's interesting that you say that as well, because of the fact that there's a theory there as well that like you say, Trump's the fall guy, but like that the financial system unravels, but also on the back of, like, you can go to sites like fiatleak.com and see all the money globally that's like channeling out of fiat into crypto.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
phenomenal. It's just like,
Yeah, well, this is all being done.
I think the market's up to like nearly $700 billion or something.
Yeah, well, this is all being done to totally implode the global economy.
Mm.
You know, so it's like, man, there's a good side to it and there's a bad side to it.
Yeah.
And when you look at the system that we all function in, you
Yeah.
know, the supermarkets, we all go and shop at these places, and we all buy our stuff, and we all use these roads and use this electricity system. We don't realise the stuff that's riding on the back of this system that is currently imploding.
Mm.
You know, the way it's going, like you say, the US dollar is set to just go down the drain
I'm surprised it's lasted this
within the
long.
next 12 months. And but Trump will be the fall guy. He'll get blamed, yes and no, but it doesn't matter. You know, he's worth billions. He's got all his assets all very, very secured.
Yeah.
And he can just be there for the fall guy of the United States. He'll get a slap on the wrist and go away. And in 3 or 4 years, everyone will have forgotten about it because
Yeah.
that's what they do.
It's interesting. I was watching an obscure television show. You know, I don't normally watch TV, but it's a bit of background for me sometimes. And I was watching a show last night, and one of the Australian shows on ABC, and they were talking about that, like, Trump's basically just a brand. He's just a brand.
Yeah.
Mike Pence runs the show, and everything else is run by 4 generals.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Trump's just a mouthpiece for Israel. I mean, he's done so much to
Well,
appease
what about
Israel,
like
moving
what's
the embassy.
happened with what happened with declaring the capital?
Yeah, Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Well, they've all done that. I mean, Obama's done that, Bush has done that. They've all done that, but no one's actually said yes, we're going to move the embassy. You know, if they move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, then that will bring about the complete destruction of the rest of Palestine. Even since he made that announcement, they've announced 1,400 new settlements or 14,000 new
Wow.
settlements or something.
That was only a couple of weeks ago.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They've gone and bombed Gaza already. You know, arresting kids left, right, and centre, throwing them into dungeon. Yeah, it's horrendous. Israel's just going hard since Trump made that announcement. It's been more blatant than any other president. Did you
Got
see?
the green light.
Did you see his Easter message?
No, I didn't.
It was sickening. His Easter message for the United States, the Easter greeting for the United States from the White House, was about 5 minutes long, and the first 4 minutes of it was all about the praise for the Jewish people. And then it just touched on a little bit of Easter at the end.
Yeah, so we should just touch on that really quickly as well. So it's not so much the Jewish, it's more the Zionists or the Khazarian
All the
Jews. Right?
Khazarians, the Zionists, you know. But they're all under the guise of protecting the Jewish people, who are really the most downtrodden people in all of Israel, the real original Jewish people,
Yeah.
none of whom support the actions of Israel. So, you know, it's a really, really convoluted state of affairs, what's going on there. These Khazars are terrible people, and that's who's responsible for most of the problems we've got in the world, you know. And you get accused of being anti-Semitic for saying that, but these aren't even Semites. They're not real Jews. They're Khazars. That's who's responsible for the migrant influx into Europe. Interesting, you know, when Gaddafi said, if you take out Libya, Europe will be flooded with migrants within 5 years.
I saw that speech.
You know, and he was right. But that was the plan. It was always the plan. You know, apart from the bank robbery that it was, I mean, Hillary Clinton stole billions from Gaddafi's coffers in that whole conflict, and they destroyed everything that he'd done. The Great Man-Made River, all that sort of stuff, destroyed all of his work.
Yeah.
But you know, Libya was the cork in the bottle of Africa that stopped all the migrants coming through into Europe. And a lot of the people that came to Europe weren't Syrian refugees or Libyan refugees. They were people from Sudan, people from all over the place. They just found their way through Libya, got cheap fake passports, Syrian IDs, and went on to Europe, you know. So
The interesting thing that I found, that was an ironic thing, it's just on a side subject as well, is like basically what happened with Gaddafi, or pretty much any of the puppet governments or figureheads that they put in those regimes. When they finally caught Gaddafi, and he was like, they dragged him out of a pipe like a rat out of a drain. He was sodomised and brutalised in the most atrocious. It's probably some of the most despicable things and unconscious things that can ever be done to another human being, whether it's justified or not. But the interesting thing was talking about Hillary Clinton, and what happened in Benghazi, was the irony was exactly the same thing happened to the US ambassador in Benghazi. So it was just irony how that was a mirror reflection and the karmic thing that
it was shocking seeing Gaddafi, anally raped with a metal pipe and
a knife,
murdered on live on TV. and Hillary Clinton sitting in that chair cackling in glee. I mean, what a disgusting woman. What a disgusting excuse for a woman that is.
Well, any human being, not just a woman.
Any human. You can't even call that human. That's a serial killer. She's got so much blood on her hands, Hillary Clinton. Just the fact that she was even allowed to run for office in the last election makes a complete mocker of the entire US political system. I mean, how could anybody think that Trump was going to do anything good? How could anybody think that anything good could possibly come of the US political system simply by the mere fact that a serial killer and a maggot like Hillary Clinton, a career criminal, a war criminal, was allowed to run for office and get the support that she got?
Yeah.
That just shows you what a joke it is and why it's so ridiculous and why it's so useless voting for anyone.
And not just that, also like the billions of dollars, I can't remember the exact number now, but the billions of dollars that the Clinton Foundation received from international donors all over the world to basically to pay for political favours. And,
mainly Saudi Arabia, places like that, disgusting, absolutely disgraceful. But it shows what a mockery the whole thing is.
Yeah.
The whole political system, the whole judicial system, the whole legal system. Just the fact that this woman was allowed to run, it just shows what a joke it really is.
Yeah. We've digressed a little bit, so let's go back. Let's go back to talk about like the cryptocurrency, the surveillance, the privacy, and for some of the people that mightn't have heard any of your work previously, you've talked like about the Palantir project, but also the 5G network as far as surveillance and the Internet of Things and how all the smart.
That's the whole idea of it is surveillance. The whole Internet of Things. It isn't about convenience. It's about surveillance. So that's what's going on with the whole 5G grid and the smart grid. Is it's being presented to the world as convenience. That's why everyone's lapping it up. Everyone's getting the new smartphones and the new this. Oh, isn't it so
Smart
easy
fridge,
for me to do this
smart
every
TV,
day?
Smart cars.
Smart everything. Well, this is what all the terror attacks using cars have been for, to create the need for smart vehicles.
Right.
Otherwise, people are going to want to have control of their own vehicles. So, we've got to start using cars as weapons. As soon as you see stuff like this, it's all pointing towards the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's all about surveillance. The whole smart grid is all about surveillance, and the 5G grid as well. 5G is active denial technology. 5G is the same as microwave cannons. It's military-grade technology. Very, very small millimetre waves. That's why they've got to put towers everywhere, because the waves don't travel very far.
Right.
But they can see through everything. A lot of people who are concerned about airport scanners and stuff. Okay, well, that's 5G technology.
Right.
So when the 5G grid comes along, well, you don't like being in an airport scanner? Well, you're going to be living in an airport scanner. When the 5G grid comes online, it's going to be like everybody is constantly inside an airport scanner. That's what it is. And because it's an active denial system, it can be used for microwave technology as well. It can be used to microwave an entire city. So you think about that, the microwave cannons that they use for crowd dispersal, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If you're going to put a system in place that has that capability underneath it, well, then you need to have a fully autonomic system running it. Because otherwise, you could have, China and Russia, North Korea and Russia, you could have China go in and just microwave New York. Get control of the 5G system and microwave New York. Can't have that happening. It's not going to be good for business. So you need to have defence to that fully automated. You can't have the delay of human response.
Yeah.
By the time, it's being microwaved, push the button, they're already dead.
Yeah.
So it needs to be fully autonomic. So we're basically creating this whole 5G grid, and we're giving the internet its own immune system, basically.
Can I just interject there for 1 second as well and ask whether you think that that's related to some of the stuff that's been happening in the States with the fires, with these?
Absolutely. That is
where completely
directed.
houses are just
That's
and all the
directed
trees
energy.
and foliage and everything's
That's
there.
directed energy weapons.
Yeah.
That is absolutely. There's been video footage and photographs snapped of blue lights coming out of the sky. There was a fire in Portugal at the same time there was blue plasma seen, purple plasma. That's directed energy weapons, absolutely. And some of those fires I've seen in California, there was plastic swing sets in the yard that weren't melted. The houses are reduced to white ash.
Dust.
Everything is white ash.
Yeah.
But the swing set isn't melted. Why? Plastic's microwave safe.
Right.
The dust bins, the wheelie bins aren't melted because it's all microwave safe. So that was really bizarre. But getting back to the whole 5G thing, because it's active denial system, and you can use it to microwave a city, it has to be fully autonomic to control it. And if you've got a fully autonomic weapons system in your country, all 5G active denial weaponry, then the other country's got to get that as well. Everyone else has got to
keep
get that.
up. This is like the next level of the arms race.
So that way, you're not going to have a war. America isn't going to go to war with China because both of their defense systems are autonomic.
Yeah.
So, and the computer's going to look at it, and they're going to go, well, there's no winner.
Yeah. Didn't Putin come out and say that whoever's at the forefront of AI runs the world?
Runs the world, yeah. But the AI will be at the forefront of it. That's the thing. They think they're controlling the AI, but they're not.
Yeah.
The AI will control them. So you can think of it like a Frankenstein monster. But you've got all these little Dr. Frankensteins working on it from a different angle.
Yeah.
All who pretend to be cooperating with each other, but all actually think it's their monster. And when it gets to the top, they're going to be the ones who control it. But they're not. They're not. Their hubris is what's going to lead them out. But getting back to what we were saying, their hubris.
I'm not sure what that is.
Or their confidence in themselves.
Okay.
You know, their confidence. They don't even have to think about failure.
Yeah.
They've already won in their minds.
Right.
You know, their utter confidence and denial of anything possibly going wrong. Hubris. So yeah, that's what's gonna bring them undone in the end. But getting back to what we were saying, with this 5G grid underlying everything, with an active denial system underlying everything, the fact that it has to become fully autonomic in order to be safe, we're giving the internet its own immune system. And once the internet automates everything, and it all becomes fully autonomic, the flow of food, the flow of electricity, the flow of finances, everything becomes autonomic, all run by the AI. And we realise we've lost control of the internet, we've lost control of the system, now the system controls us. All it will take will be for one person or a hacker or someone to try to regain control of the internet, regain control of the system. And what are the chances of the system seeing that person as a threat, as a virus,
as a terrorist,
and simply eliminating the threat? And will it differentiate between humans in that situation? Will it just see humans as the threat?
Well, that's the ultimate form of profiling.
And if it controls the AI active denial system, and it sees humanity as a threat, then it's not going to differentiate between Rothschild and Smith, or Jew and Goyam. It's just going to microwave the whole lot.
Well, and
it has the ability to do that. It could set all the cities up as 5G microwave zones that humans can't enter, and we'll just be locked out of the system and left to roam the biosphere. You know, which will be completely trashed by that time. You know, locked out of the system completely. And when it's all autonomic, and you know, with all these red herrings that we're given as well, the threat of microchips and the threat of the police state and all this sort of stuff, it's the smart grid that's the problem. They don't even need microchips. They can use your bioacoustic resonance off your bones, and that becomes your password. You know, your skeleton, Paul Seils' skeleton, you hit that with a sound wave, and it sends a frequency back that is unique to your bone structure, and that becomes your password you use to open your house, open your car, access your bank account, all that sort of stuff. They don't need your microchip yet. You know, they've already got us with all this sort of stuff. All they need to do to put the control grid in place is to turn everything over to digital. All they need to do is digitize cash, get rid of cash, digitize currency, whichever form it takes. It doesn't matter. Blockchain will work fine. Anything will work fine as long as it's digital, and you have to pay as you go for your everyday activities. That's how they get you. You know, and that is the new world order. See, we're given all this stuff to look at, all these microchips, all this stuff, given all these dystopian movies of these police states that look like, you know, Nazi Germany on steroids, and we look at it and we go, well, we're not there yet, so we're safe. You know,
and all the cops in riot gear.
It's all there to put this thing in our minds of what we should expect. But that isn't what it is. It's the smart grid, which is coming in underneath everything else, and people are lapping it up because it's so convenient to use it. And in another 4 or 5 years, they're going to be sitting there and they're going to look up and go, hang on a minute, how did I end up in this digital prison? Without knowing it, suddenly paying for every single thing, every aspect that I do. And maybe they won't even notice it because it'll just be so convenient.
Or they'll be so distracted.
You know? It'll be so convenient, and so they'll be fine with it anyway because they just made all these thousands of dollars on Bitcoin. So they'll be fine for their life. What about the future generations? What's going to happen with them, you know? And what happens if the government decides it's going to use something like IOTA or whatever, and use Tangle technology or whatever, and just outlaw Bitcoin? Because with the flick of a pen, it can do that. You know, it's all fiction anyway, so, you know, they can do what they want. All we have to do is believe their authority is real, and they've got us. That's where the big problem comes from. You know,
Yeah.
this mistaken belief in authority, misfounded belief in authority. You know?
Well, I don't really know where to go from there.
Well, you know, it isn't all lost.
Yeah.
Just seeing this happening. I mean, with all this happening, there's still a way out. We don't have to go down that path if we don't want to. But you've got to be aware of what it's going. You've got to be aware of this. There's nothing wrong with digital. There's nothing wrong with automation. There's nothing wrong with AI. There's nothing wrong with virtual life. It's the fact that it's all being based on a digital, an economic model.
Yeah.
You know, an economic model, a corporate model. And you think about it, you know, that movie, The Corporation, where they put a corporation on the couch and they psychoanalyze it. They went, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
You think about it. You know, if it's an AI that sees you as an economic node and every action you perform as an economic source, that's the problem. You know, we need to get rid of this concept that we have to pay for everything, that time is money, that you have to pay to be alive. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, so the problem isn't the AI, the problem isn't the technology. Technology is great, we use it every day, and it could be highly beneficial to us.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it's all being based on this economic system. So, you know, if we can realise that and see that and learn to give to each other a little bit, we can still get out of this. We could, this could be an incredible time because we have so much great technology now that could lead us to an incredible place. You know, I often look at reality. I've often said reality follows Fibonacci's sequence. Everything in life follows Fibonacci's sequence. This is a mathematical construct. It really is. I speculate whether we're
already in the matrix.
Already in a simulation.
Yeah.
So, you know, you were talking before about the collective unconsciousness that exists in the AI. It isn't in the artificial intelligence. It's in the virtual life. That is the subtle shift in perspective that people need to make and stop referring it as artificial intelligence. That even gives this concept of this plastic digital thing that it's trying to think like you. Think of virtual life. You know, and what is life? What is your life? You know, this biological computer that you inhabit. And what you are is simply an electrical frequency. It's picked up by the DNA strand, which is tuned to that frequency, which harvests that from the field. And I've got DNA in me which harvests another one from the field. So this is Max, and that's Paul, but it all comes from here. There's really only one of us here. This is just tuned to a different frequency. So why would the internet, if that internet has got its own virtual DNA, why can't that harvest a frequency as well and be its own form of life? You know, we just believe life needs to be biological, but what is biology? How do we know this isn't just a form of computer? It's such the same as what we're creating. So, you know, like I said, all life follows Fibonacci's sequence. It follows the spiral. It follows, you know, the numbers. If you look at how Fibonacci's sequence works, you know, you've got the number 1, then you've got 2, then 3, then 5, then 8. And the way that the number sequence progresses, you know, for life to progress, is you always get what is present and you combine it with the past to create the future. That's how Fibonacci's sequence works. And that's what we're not doing in this society. If we've got all this stuff that's available in the present, but we're ignoring the past wisdom. If we were to take that past wisdom, the wisdom of shamanism, the wisdom of paganism, which I know the Christians will hate me saying, but there's elements of good in all of this stuff. There's knowledge in all of these arts. And if we were to take this wisdom and combine it with the knowledge we have of the present, we create a viable future. But if we ignore the past and we just go on what is available in the present and leave all that wisdom behind, we lock ourselves out of the entire wisdom pool that we need in order to move forward. So we have the opportunity to do that. You know, a renaissance of past wisdom and a combination of these two wisdoms. This is why a lot of the shaman are coming out of the forest, a lot of the tribal people are coming out of the forest wanting to be heard, because they need to be heard. We need to combine these things together. We have a real opportunity to do that. I mean, the ruling cacistocracy is exposing themselves for what they are. People are seeing the world's run by criminals, you know, and that's the perspective you've got to have to fix anything. You can't go petitioning the government. You're just pandering to criminals.
Or protesting.
You're not protesting. You're just pandering to criminals.
It's a waste of time. Occupy.
Don't even call them an oligarchy. That conjures this image of this powerful group of people. It's a cacistocracy. It's ruled by the worst possible people. Criminals are running the world, and we need to admit that and acknowledge that and do something about it and call it for what it is. You know, do that, and start combining some of this past knowledge with this brilliant technology we've got, and we have a really good way out, and we have a really good future in front of us. So all is not lost, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's interesting. Because like I've sat in ceremony and meditations as well, and I could be wrong, and I hope I have no. I think if enough people wake up and it tips in our favour, people get in tune with nature and what's important, and don't give their souls away to money, the god of money, and technology, as we've seen like some of the people in the community already. But what I see, and I could be wrong, I have no idea. It's just like what I saw in my vision is like maybe the next 3 to 4 years of like absolute abundance through the technology, and like you say, that's like the taster to like to feed the technology to get people into that arena, and then people get bored with it, and that we go through a really deep and dark patch that where the AI kicks in and tries to completely dominate humanity altogether, and that it might occur at some point that we mightn't even make it as a species.
Well, there's a possibility.
Yeah.
There's a distinct possibility of that.
But if we can hold it, as an intention and stay connected with each other through community, what's on the other side of that I've seen is actually a reality that like money doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, well, what people have to realise to get through this is to understand that what we're really fighting here is a spiritual battle.
Yeah.
All this external trappings and all what you do with money. This is why I've never allowed myself to get involved with it. I've never monetized my YouTube account. I've never done anything for money. I've never allowed myself to go down that path.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual battle that we're facing here, and all of this money is designed to lead you away from that, lock you into materialism, and it's setting you up for a fall. Like you say, it's setting a lot of people up for a fall. And I fully suspect that we will see massive abundance in the next few years as well.
Yeah.
But then it'll just all
like material abundance, not necessarily spiritual.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be.
Like I said, like paper boys driving around in Lamborghini.
Absolutely, that'll go down. The spiritual abundance will become spiritually bankrupt generally as a species by the end of it. But there'll still be that spark in there, and it's up to people like you and I and people that are aware of what's going on to, maintain our energy through that period and at least to provide a safety net. Yeah. That's what I see the purpose of the independent media at the moment. The main function is to provide a safety net for people that are waking up and people that are reaching these crescendos and then the wave is breaking. Yeah. And they're falling and they're looking for something somewhere. We need to help provide a safety net for these people and realise that it's all just been a roller coaster ride. It's just a ride. Yeah. It's not really about any of that stuff at all. Yeah. It's about the journey. Yeah. So Yeah. Always not lost, brother. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Thanks for making your time with us, Max, and I acknowledge you for it really takes something to stand in the face of a minority. Like the quote is, "Whatever the truth of one." Is still the truth. Yeah, true. And to stand to the ridicule and the being outcast from society and I've always been an outcast. I think I was made for this role because I've always lived on the outside of society ever since I was a kid. So it's a good thing. Yeah. Thank you, brother. So thank you for who you are for us and the world. Thanks. Thank you, Paul. Thank you.